Everyone, welcome to the video. This is 12 ways to instantly improve your climbing. So I actually recorded this video earlier today. It turned out to be 30 minutes long, and I then deleted all the footage from my phone permanently, so I'm remaking it now. And it's maybe a blessing because this won't be 30 minutes, maybe it'll be like 10, 15, and it'll just be concise. I'm not going to ramble like I am now. Alright, so number one is rest more. Your ATP system, your max power system, takes about 3 to 4 minutes to recover. It recovers using your aerobic system. So if you're only taking a minute, 2 minutes rest in between your attempts, you're never gonna be back at your max power for your next attempt. And you know, even if you're having more attempts on a boulder in a certain amount of time, they're going to be lower quality attempts than if you were to rest an extra 2 minutes. So number one, rest more. Number two is pull with your feet. Like actually pull with your feet. This one took me a while to figure out on my own. For the longest time I just pushed on footholds, right? You put your foot on the foothold and you just push on it, that's what you do, it's your feet. But when it comes to overhand climbing harder routes, you know, smaller holds and everything, even on bigger routes, you just need to actually pull with your toes, like pull down with your toes to keep your hips up, and that's how you're going to keep your hips into the wall and just stay closer and not swing out as much. So try it when you next go climbing. Number two, pull with your feet. Number three is breathing exercises. So I'm only going to cover one of them. On the article at ascendingblog.com I mention another one, and the article just obviously goes into a lot more depth than this video. So if you want that, head over there basically. So the breathing technique, I should say, is the Valsalva maneuver. You might already have heard of it. I think it's from the powerlifting industry. But you basically resist an exhale to create tension inside your core. So they use it in that industry for protecting their internal organs and spine and stuff, because the internal pressure kind of keeps everything solid and keeps everything less prone to injury, I guess, or strain. But you can utilize it in your climbing because that inner pressure will create a much stronger core for you than if you're just tensing or just breathing relaxed. And I'm not saying you shouldn't breathe deep, relaxed breaths. It's just for certain moves, like real body tensiony moves, maybe you have to go for a far dead point and you have to really keep your core tight just that 1 second where you're catching the hold. This Valsalva maneuver can be of great use to you. You basically resist an exhale, so you're like, you know what I mean, I can't explain it, you're just resisting an exhale. When you hear people power scream, that's sometimes what they're doing. If they're like grunting, it's kind of resisting the exhale. That is the same thing whether they know it or not. Number four, I wrote visualizing, but it's more the belief. It's good to read the route and kind of be like, okay, I see what I'm doing, that's what I'm going to do. But I just saw what I was going to do when I was competing, but I didn't actually have the belief that I was going to do it, because we can all picture ourselves being or doing something, but do we actually believe we will do them? And it makes the difference so often. It makes the difference between whether you actually stick the hold or not. You know those times where you've hit a hold perfectly, but you didn't expect to, so you just let go anyway, and you stood there on the ground like, why did I just let go? I didn't get it. I do this a lot. And it's because you didn't expect to keep the hold. Your body wasn't ready to actually hold on to it, and so you just let go. So number four, visualizing. But when you visualize what you're going to do, I want you to fully believe you're going to do it, and you'll be much more likely to actually stick the hold. Even if you hit it worse, you're expecting to keep it, so you will. more of the time. Number 4, visualizing. 5, let go a little. So it's more of like, people say it to beginners a lot, oh, you're over gripping or trying to over grip, you know, can you relax your grip a bit? And this is what we tell beginners, and I feel like once you reach a certain point in your climbing, you don't want to listen to over gripping and you're like, no, I don't over grip anymore. But you probably do, even just a little bit. We all do over grip to some extent. And this tip, I basically want you to go ahead before you climb and hold on to some holds and kind of see how less you can actually hold on. Start easing up with your forearms just a little bit and a little bit, and seeing, oh, okay, I actually do hold on with a little bit more than I need to. And it might only be 2%, but you're holding 30, 60 holds. That's gonna have a pretty dramatic compound effect on your climbing, and you'll be able to climb more. Basically, you'll have more energy to reach your crux, for example, and you'll climb better. Number 5, let go a little. Number 6 is squeeze your ass. So a lot of the time climbers' hips are sagging, and it's pretty obvious to a third person, but when you're climbing you might not notice it. So I just want you to consciously, like actively make the decision to squeeze your ass. And what this is going to do is, without realizing, you're going to be pulling down with your feet, squeezing your ass. Your hips are going to come up, you'll be tighter into the wall, and you're just going to be climbing more efficiently, really. I can't think of many moves where you don't want to be squeezing your ass to keep your hips into the wall. It's one of our biggest muscles, and it's responsible partly for connecting our legs to our waist and to our upper body, so you actively want to be using it to the highest extent you can. Alright, number 7, smile. So hear me out, don't exit the video. Smiling, it can instantly help with climbing, I promise. You know, your physiology and your psychology are intertwined, right? They respond from each other. You can do a power pose and you'll feel more confident. You can feel confident and you look confident. If you feel anxious or worried, basically, you're not going to be able to push yourself because you feel like it's a threatening environment. Your body is going to want to bring you out of that. So number 7, smile. Number 8 is watch your feet. So I'm not trying to say your footwork's bad. You probably already know, right, that you're supposed to like watch your foot onto the foothold and then look away. But I want you to go a step further and actively weight that foothold before you look away. Watching your foothold until you've placed it is good because you'll place it right, you'll place it where it needs to be. But if you haven't watched yourself weight it, there's still a bit of unknown in your brain, so you might not fully weight it if you look away to your next hold and then have to like rock over, for example. If you watch it and fully weight the foot, then you've seen that you can put weight on it, and you'll be inclined to use as much of your weight on it as possible, instead of just gingerly like sitting your foot on it and then not weighting it. So yeah, watch your feet. Take a fall. That's number 9. This is one of my favorites. So taking like a fall at the beginning of your session can really impact your climbing, because you know, if you haven't taken a fall in a while, even if you're kind of comfortable taking them, it's not very fresh. You know, if you take a fall at the start of your session, even on purpose, your climbing is going to be much better because you've just had a refresher. You know, it's recent in your mind, like, I have just taken a fall and I'm okay. So you're in that mindset where it's safe for you to take a fall. Basically, this is just going to really help you climbing. Like, not being afraid to fall makes you so much better at climbing because you're able to just do what you need to do. You're not worried about something slipping, or you're not worried about getting too tired, because those things counterintuitively actually make you climb worse. Taking a fall at the beginning of your session, yeah, it just allows you to go ahead and climb to the best of your ability without any worries, and it's fresh in your mind that it is okay to fall. Number 10 is climb to recover. So I'm a lead climber, right, and I'd usually in between attempts just belay or just kind of like rub my forearms. I wouldn't climb, or I'd maybe stretch them a little bit, but my understanding was I've just used my muscle a lot and it's pumped, so I'm just going to leave my forearm be. You know, why would I do some climbing? But one of my old coaches told me actually a little bit of climbing will get the blood just pumping more into your forearms. You'll raise your heart rate, and the lactic acid will get taken out of your forearms sooner, so you can have an attempt sooner, you'll be fresh, or you can have more attempts in the same amount of time. And it's just a great tip. So one thing that's important is the climbing needs to be sub-maximal, very sub-maximal. You want it to be aerobic level intensity, so up to about 40% intensity, because you just want to be using your aerobic system. You want lots of blood coming into your muscles and coming out of your forearms specifically, but you don't want to begin straining yourself, because this will actually hinder your recovery. So yeah, number 10, climb to recover. Number 11 is use good oh my goodness. Kicked over my use good shoes. Oh my god. I'm using my clip stick as a tripod, and this thing is sketch. I was gonna crack my phone. The pair of shoes I started climbing in, basically, like a £40 pair of climbing shoes from Decathlon, a couple sizes too big. They're like slippers. Yeah, like those kind of shoes. If they're too big for you, if your toes, you know, if they don't fit you properly, then this is for you. Getting a good pair of shoes will increase your climb performance. No one really wants to say it, but it will. If you have a good pair of shoes, you're going to be able to just use smaller holds. You're going to have to put more weight through your feet, through smaller holds. You're just going to climb much better. So, you know, if you've been climbing a couple months now and you're into it, I would suggest getting a better pair of shoes, a good pair of shoes, as soon as you can, and your climbing will improve. Alright everyone, this last one is use every muscle but your forearms. So when I begun, everyone talked about efficiency, like you wanna use your muscles as little as possible, or, you know, hang on your skeleton, I got told. So you're almost like sharing the weight through your body. So I had like equal amounts of weight through my arms and my legs, and since I was not using any muscle with like a lot of intensity, I thought of it as efficient, and it kind of makes sense. But I was just recently having a conversation with my dad, and I said, we're basically trying to use every muscle but your forearms, and I think it actually makes more sense, because yeah, wow, where were we? Yeah, use every muscle but your forearms. So it's a different way of thinking about efficiency as a climber, because you don't want to use your muscles as little as possible. You just want to use your forearms as little as possible. They're the weakest muscle, right? They're normally where we fail. So it's not that you don't want to use your lats and your trapezius and your glutes and your core. You just don't want to use your forearms. You actually want to use those other muscles as much as possible to reduce the weight that is on your forearms. All of these muscles you want to be using to take as much weight as you can off your forearms. All these other muscles are basically carrying your forearms. I think use every muscle but your forearms. It's kind of a more easy to understand way to talk about efficiency, especially with beginners. So I hope it's brought you some value. If you want to read the full article, go to ascendingblog.com and you'll be able to read much more that I didn't mention in this video, because obviously the website goes into much more depth, and you can check out the rest of my articles while you're there. I think you'll enjoy them. But anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good day.